Welcome to Rock and Roll Book Club, everybody. I'm Shelley. I'm here with Jen and Dave, my co-hosts.
Hi.
And today we are looking back at 2024. What were our favorite books? Maybe a couple mentions of anything that we didn't respond to. But just kind of a quick recap as to, like, now that it's 2025, what are we still thinking about? What did we love? What would we recommend the most? If you have not watched any of our videos yet, this might be a good one to take a peek and look back at the ones we liked best. And that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
So, Dave just had our YouTube channel pulled up there. And so today, the books, Dave, would you pull it up one more time?
Yeah.
So in the running for best of 2024 are books by or about Sly and the Family Stone, or Sly Stone in particular, Rob Halford, Dave Grohl, Ani DeFranco, Kathleen Hanna, The Replacements, and Mark Lanigan. Oh, and of course, last but not least, Motley Crue. So let's get into it. Who wants to start with their favorite book of 2024?
It's the book, and it's because of the episode that we did about it, is going to be The Replacements one. Just because I feel like that was a really good episode. It was our most popular one. It was different because it was the first time that it was a book that was a non-memoir. So we really didn't have, it was different because it was somebody else telling the story of the band, and we mostly dealt with memoirs and stuff. So I think that one, and also because of the fact that Shelley, you didn't really know the artist, but then became a big fan afterwards.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I would go with that one. I think we had a good discussion about it. I think it was just it's probably one of my favorite videos. I don't usually rewatch our stuff very often because when you edit it, you have to watch it over and over and over and over.
Yeah,
and so by the
time
it's done, I'm so sick of it. Like, I don't want to see it anymore. But it's a good episode. I have rewatched it. I liked it. So that'd be maybe my favorite, I guess. I mean, it's hard to say because I really love that Lanigan one too.
It's worth mentioning also that The Replacements are one of your very, very favorite bands.
Oh, absolutely.
And you are like a walking encyclopedia of Replacements knowledge. And you even learned a few things from the book, if I recall correctly.
That is true. Our signature stuff that we do was sort of invented in that part, like where we came up with give me one word for each of the guys, or who was the ultimate survivor, or who was a lot of that stuff sort of took form in that video. And
that's true.
I guess that's kind of why I like it the best, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Great answer. Jen, what do you think?
I'm kind of torn because I love the Crew book. Like, I love it. I'm going to go with the Crew book, and then I have a second.
Okay.
I can get to it later if we all go into a second. I love the Crew book. I love how it was written. I mean, that should have won a Nobel Prize. Just saying. It was so great.
A Peace Prize or for literature?
Yeah.
A rated X.
Is there a Nobel Prize for blowjobs? And
that was a good video too. Beyond the book, I think that was a good video too, because we all got really into it. It was funny. And yeah, it was the raunchiest, dirtiest book that we have definitely read in our 15 books that we've done so far.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of fun to it too. I mean, I think that was another fun video where we really got engaged into the discussion and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had to pick a favorite episode of the year, it would definitely be the Motley Crue one. I mean, Dave, the blowjob counter is just par excellence. I mean, yeah, that was one of the most fun to record. And I mean, let's be honest, like, that entire book is just a complete dumpster fire of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but like in the very best way.
Yeah, I mean, it was written so well.
It was.
No, they tried to end it like on a nice note, but that book was published so long ago that when like you look back, you're like, there's no way in hell that like Vince Neil's sober and Tommy Lee is like married and gonna be married for the rest of his life. It's like, yeah, this is all a bunch of total bullshit. They're trying to wrap it up in a nice package, and we know that the dumpster fire continues to burn after. There really was. And also, I think that that's a video worth watching because we made a lot of Vince Neil references in subsequent episodes, because he truly is like the most trash human that we have read about. I mean, by far.
Vince is so shitty.
We have referenced him in other videos, and especially where we talk about, well, this guy's bad, but he's not as bad as Vince Neil. You know, like
Yes.
we've had a lot of those where it's like, okay, the scale is Vince Neil is the ultimate dirtbag.
Yes.
And then do you meet that Vince Neil level? I mean, nobody has met that Vince
No
Neil
one
level.
has. He's like Julius Caesars. I mean, he's just the worst. He is the absolute worst human that we have read about.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Jen, I'm tied like you also. So I'll say one, but I have another in reserve. And I'm going to give it to Kathleen Hanna's book, Rebel Girl, which was your pick, Jen. Not only was that just like such a great read / listen, I love her voice. I love the way that she read the book. It was so incredibly interesting. I learned so much. I was not, really a big fan of hers. I didn't really know a lot about her. I knew of her. And by the end of it, I just like loved her. And she's just such a total badass. And not only did she, break so much ground in terms of like the punk scene and all of that, but she's a true feminist and a true fan of human rights, and really did so much for women, and kind of used her platform and continues to use her platform for good. And so, I just think I love kind of her mission in life, and I loved her writing style, and I loved her reading style. And yeah, just a great read. And it's starting to hit like best of lists and other places too. So I'm not the only one, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I liked it too. It wouldn't have been my favorite. I mean, I also have a tie for second as well. We'll get to it. But no, I that Kathleen Hanna book was very good. It's like I go back and forth. Do I want the more fun? Do I like the more fun books better, like The Replacements and Motley Crue, or maybe go for the more serious ones like Kathleen Hanna and one that we're going to do in the future for Arenda Fink, like that deal with more serious topics? Like, I don't know. I get back and forth. I mean, we can get really good discussions both ways. So I'm kind of torn. I mean, I liked it. So what was your second place then, or your tie?
My second place or tie is the Mark Lanigan book. That is without a doubt the book that I think about the most often now.
I love him. Yeah,
he just like the only reason that Kathleen Hanna edged him out for me is because kind of like the messages in the book and her advocacy for others. But I think that the Lanigan book was the most honest and such a huge story of redemption, while also being a complete page turner, and also just one WTF after the other. I remember us talking about how just when you think it's gotten as crazy as it possibly could get, like he one-ups it, and then he just like keeps going the whole time. And it's like, I mean, it's truly like the absolute wildest autobiography I've ever read. Like rock star or none, it's just like an insane ride.
Yeah.
And you think that like the wildest behavior is going to be Motley Crue, and no, Mark Lanigan puts those guys to shame. One man does more drugs than the four of Motley Crue, and just had this level of depravity is just like, wow. I was truly shocked by the Mark Lanigan stuff, because I just had no idea that was the way he was living back in the 90s, because the book cuts off at like 99 or 2000.
Yeah.
So it's just is growing up into the 90s. But man, yeah, no, that was my tie for number 2. That would have been my second one as well.
Same. I'm there as well.
Yeah.
The thing about that book, like, in addition to the fact that the stories were just absolutely insane. I mean, when he met the guy, when he met the guy who had Tourette's in the middle of the night biking down the street, where was he? Was he?
He was like in France or something,
Yeah.
or I don't know.
I mean, come on. I just like and they went back to his house. There's all these bicycles. But yeah, I love that book, every bit of it. And I liked Mark, even when he was fucked up and had all these random people,
Well, because he was really fucked up, and he did do a lot of drugs and did some sketchy shit, but he wasn't like, and he wasn't maybe the nicest guy, but it wasn't like with like Motley Crue where they're just like kind of unrepentant dirtbags.
Yeah.
Like Mark Lanigan did have a sensitive side. He wasn't just like I mean, I don't know. Sure, he did some questionable stuff, of course, but like, I think with his depravity, it was different. Like Motley Crue, where, Tommy Lee sticks his dick in like literally any woman that walks in front of him. Like, there's just no whatever. Like, that's not, I mean, I don't know. I just think there's a difference, between
I think Mark, and not to say who's the bigger addict, but I think Mark was the biggest addict of anyone that we've read about.
Yeah.
And he didn't die. I mean,
well, and also he never had the kind of money that some of these other guys did. Like the Motley Crue guys had a ton of dough. And when you make that kind of money, you're a little sheltered from like street life with drugs. Like you don't have to go out and get them. You can pay somebody else to go do it, or you can do it. Lanigan was at street level, right?
Oh, so he was hustling for his fix, right, man.
He was making it like his world was so much different than like the guys in Motley Crue or even like Kurt Cobain and some of these others, because he didn't have tons of dough. He had to, struggle for it, like more so than almost anyone, Yeah, that's why his book is just so fucking fascinating. All the weird stuff with the sex worker and the scam they were putting on people, and then they were robbing these guys and doing all this really wild stuff, and you're just like, God damn. And he was like on Epic Records as a like Screaming Trees recording artist at that time when he was doing that shit. You're just like, wow.
Yeah, right. And also the fact that the sex worker then gets killed by a serial killer. I mean, it's like,
and I just, the thing about it is, even when I hear him now, if I've got my favorite radio stations that I'd share sometime if anybody wants to know, anytime I'm just like, oh, I just like, I just want to give him a hug, but we can't, because he died from COVID symptoms, not of drug abuse. Now, maybe that had something to do with it. So we just wanted to take a minute to, we'll do this individually, but we just want to thank everyone. I personally want to thank everybody for the support, for the sharing, for the listening, for the comments. And this is just a blast to do. And with my co-hosts, who are both incredible. And, we just hope to continue to bring more and more of these to you. And I also want to say the great thing about Rock and Roll Book Club is someone you never knew a thing about. You know everything about them once you read the book. And I mean, as we talked about with Mark Lanigan, I love Mark Lanigan. Kathleen Hanna, I knew of her. I didn't know much about her. Dave Grohl, we'll talk about that later. I'm just kidding. But it's just, we just thank everyone for coming along with us. And again, we take suggestions. We love comments. And we just thank everyone for giving us time in your busy, busy life and days. So that's what I have to say.
All right.
Absolutely. I second all of those comments. So grateful for everyone who's watched, I mean, even a minute of what we put out here. What I hope that listeners and watchers can take away is an interest in new books, new music. For me in my life, books and music have played such a huge role in my education about life, in my happiness, in my satisfaction. And so I hope that in some small way we can add to that, to those of you who also love books and love music. And, personally, yeah, it's just so much fun to be able to, talk with you guys, Jen and Dave. For people who don't know, or haven't watched the newbie video, like Dave and I have known each other for a really long time. And Dave and Jen have known each other for a really long time. But the first time that Jen and I met was the first time we recorded, basically. And so one thing that I'm just really grateful for is to get to know you, Jen, and what an awesome person you are. And so it's just like so great to get a new friendship out of this also. And yeah, I adore you both. And and this was originally Jen's idea. So like, thank you for that. It's just been such a blast. And also for those of you who don't know, Dave does all of the editing for this, and huge, giant props to Dave for that, because it's a big job. And like you said, he watches all of these like 8,562 times.
I'm so tired of it by the time it's ready to go.
And then Jen and I just get to watch and go, hey, it's awesome. Thank you. So, thanks, Dave, for that.
Okay, well, ever since we started this little thing with this book, This Bird Has Flown from Susanna Hoffs, this was the catalyst for our whole thing. I would say, yes, thank you for everyone for watching. It's much appreciated. We hope that you continue watching it. I would like to just reflect on what we've done over the last year and change, and that I think the show has really gotten better. Like, I think we now have this great rapport. I mean, yeah, you say I've known Jen since probably preschool or whatever, and Shelley and I have known each other for like 15 years or whatever. So yeah, there was individual, like we knew, but getting a group together and 3 that works out, we're just very lucky that it's worked out well for us. And I think the shows have gotten better. I think the books have gotten more interesting. I think our way of analyzing them has gotten better. So yeah, I'm not trying to just pat us on the back or whatever, but I do think that like, it's fun seeing the evolution of this, because when we did that first one 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, whenever we did it, we had no idea what we were doing. I mean, we barely even, the 3 of us didn't really even know each other in any context other than this. And so I have not tried to go back and watch that video. But
I'm afraid.
I'm afraid because I'm feeling like it's going to be very cringy. But
what I think is so interesting is
that
I
want to be more optimistic about Jonesy, but go ahead. So focus on the last maybe 6 or 7 that we've done, because they're the best ones so far.
I would agree.
Yeah, well, we go back through the old videos, you will see that the hairstyles of Shelley and Jen change a little bit. Mine always the same. I mean, I'm just an old bald guy. Like, I can't fix it up. It's not going to change. This is going to be the way it is. Yeah, it's not going to be changing anytime soon. So we're not. I'm going to remain remarkably consistent in terms of that.
Unless I can get Dave to do like a rotating wig segment, which I would love. Like a wig based on what book we're reviewing.
If there were some book where the artist was famous for wigs, maybe we could possibly swing that. But until that event happens, I don't see it being a thing.
No,
this is going to inform my next pick. I'm just saying.
Well, no, I think I love this idea. And I think okay, so when we were reading Motley Crue, Dave could have worn his, could
have put a Nikki Sixx thing on. It had like big hair and all that. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Here all day, guys. All day.
Maybe, is there a Poison book? Should we read that? And you can also do like some pink lipstick and, blush and the whole.
I love those guys.
What I would like to do is then also film me applying your makeup, and we can publish that as an extra or have that as a segment. I think that would get a lot of views. Yeah. I'm just saying.
I do too.
Well,
it's great ideas for, new segments in 2025. Dave gets makeup and wigs. I think we should have more appearances if possible.
If this video gets to 1,000 views, maybe I'll consider it. But
ooh, yes. All right, everybody. Did you hear it? This has been recorded.
Yeah, it's there for posterity. But yeah, that would.
Any of our videos gets to 1,000 views, it means Dave does wig and makeup a la Bret Michaels.
Oh yeah.
That'll be on a case by case basis. All right, everyone. We're going to wrap it up here. Thanks so much for watching. Please, if you haven't subscribed, like Shelley was saying, please subscribe to the channel so that way you get notified when we have a new video. Also, it does help with the old algorithm and the recommendation thing. Please like the videos because that also helps. And here's to 2025 being a great one. We've already got a couple, and we are so ready to go. Cheers on that one.
Cheers.
With my energy drink. And just thanks a lot for watching and for continuing to watch here on Rock and Roll Book Club.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.